Janet Dyer, who goes by the stage name Diamond, is a Belizean entertainer, songwriter, and singer. She was recently in Belize and we stopped by to speak with her. She reflected on growing up in Belize and migrating to the United States of America. She also told us about her career, which spans over 5 decades. We will have that for you after this break to hear from our partners, Seafront Inn, National Institute of Culture and History, Del Martin, The Barry, and the National Gas Company.
Seafront Inn welcomes you to Punta Gorda, overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea. Seafront Inn offers visitors a relaxing blend of comfort and local charm. Our rooms are spacious and fully air-conditioned, with several amenities including refrigerator, microwave, TV, and more. Clive's restaurant is located on the 3rd floor and offers a wide variety of delicious food. We can also host your special events. So when you need to get away for business or pleasure, enjoy the atmosphere at Seafront Inn, offering the best of Southern hospitality.
Belize's food heritage is more than what's on our plates. It's the stories, skills, and traditions passed down through generations. But today, those traditions are at risk. That's why the Belize Food Heritage Project is training over 150 community participants, documenting 80 traditional foodways, and sharing the rich flavors of our culture. Join us in celebrating Belize's living heritage, one recipe, one story, one community at a time. Supported by Mitch and the UNESCO ICH Fund.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation.
And I have the honor and privilege, and I must call it a great pleasure, in talking with Diamond, right? And you might know who Diamond is, right? But did you know her real name was Janet Dyer? Okay. Janet, Diamond, thank you for agreeing to talk with us, and it's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure, like I said, to be with you.
Thank you. It's an honor for me, too. I was blown away when I heard that you would show up to do the interview.
But I always do Belize watch that.
I didn't know that. You know, I'm not Ray Gongora. I sent him a press release that I was coming to Belize, and he go like, "What?" So he got in touch with Ava.
Yes.
Because I haven't been here in 18 years.
That's a long time, Diamond. We have to find out what were you doing in those 18 years that you did not find time to come to Belize, but we'll get there soon.
Okay. You know, so a friend of mine is here, and he was like, you know, you really need to come home and just touch your soil, and you know, he's into all. I said, all right. He said, so I called him back. I said, yeah, I'm coming in July. He kind of, I said, you said I should. I said, and I had just asked God. I said, God, you know, it's time for me to go home. You know what I mean? Just sort of visit and see everybody. But every time he told me a name, he told me your name, and I'll tell him a story. Then he told me about somebody else, Dougie at the Black Orchid, where I'm staying, right? So Dougie was the saxophone player in the first band that I ever performed with, the Web. When the Web, do you remember the Web? I was 17 years old. I had just left, you know, Paloti and all that kind of stuff. And I was telling them earlier, it's not that I wanted to go, but my family migrated. So that's the reason I left, because I was doing good. I was at Bob Renault, traveling, representing the country, you know, all that kind of stuff. And he was the greatest.
Bob Renault was good. Well, you remember Bob Renault because he was a great broadcaster as well at Radio Belize, right? And not many of us honor his memory enough.
Yes,
you know, Bob Renault.
Bob Renault was amazing. He sewed our costume because he was a tailor.
Yes.
He taught us all different kind of music because his show played everything. You know, we listened to classical because then it was only Radio Belize.
That's right.
So we had Children Corner, we had religious stuff, we had my grandmother would pull her chair up for Dr. Martin. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
Dr. Paul.
yes. And so, you know, for my roots are very much part of me. You know, I live in America and I love America. I got to love it because the opportunities are, you know, fathomless. But that does not mean that if you don't do the work, you ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's start to let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
But before we go to the beginning, I just want to get, before you forget, what was the first impression? How did you feel when you stepped out that plane after 18 years of not being here?
I was right at home. You know, I walk off the plane and the guy asked me something and I answer in a Creole and he looked at me like, I go like, yeah, I'm from here. I said, yes, I'm an American now, you know, like naturalized American. I said, but I'm always a Belizean. Even on my shows, you know, people always come up, they think I'm from Trinidad or Jamaica and all this kind of stuff. I go like, no, I'm from Belize. And then I would start rattling off about how beautiful it was. And when you go to Belize, there's a rainforest and there's oceans and many islands. Because people always think Belize is an island. I said, no, you could drive. You could drive. How you mean you could? I said, you drive straight through Mexico. I said, you know, and I would go through the whole thing. And I said, so they go, oh, we're going to go on a cruise. I said, make sure you stop. And then when you get to Tourist Village, say hello to Zoylan and Sam for me, you know, stuff like that, you know. So when I walked off, I don't know what I expected. But because I travel a lot, you know, I just got back from Italy, so we travel a lot. And my son one day, my youngest son was laughing because Italy is 12 hours, right? And I go like, it's 2 hours and I'll be home. I says, I can't believe I live that close, but it's rather expensive. It's amazing to me. If you fly from New York or California, it's half the price to fly from Miami. And I live right there, you know. But, you know, if you say it's
I guess the
expensive.
reward is that you'll come home, right? You're home, and after 18 years, it's good to see faces that you maybe remembered or as a young person.
A young lady said to me, are you Jason's mother? That's my eldest son, right? I said, yes. I said, you know Jason? He says, yes. My name is Joya. I said, come take a picture. And I sent it to my son, and he go like, yeah, that's Joya, my heart, you know? Because these are all younger kids to him, you know? They all grew up together. They're, remember the Clarks, System 1? Well, she's one of the, you know, from that group, right? System 1's still going strong and, you know, doing this stuff. And it was rough when Was passed away because it was so sudden, you know? And then another brother, you know? But it's a beautiful family, and that's my son's. The father is my son's grandmother's brother, so he's really close to them, you know, yeah. And my son is in this business. I was telling him before, he's the audiovisual supervisor for CBS Columbus Circle in New York, you know. He covers, well, his main thing is Drew Barrymore. But it's funny, a young lady from here, I said, Drew Barrymore. She says, oh, she's my favorite Aries. I said, these kids are so sweet, you know what I mean? So, yeah, when I walked off the plane, I just felt quite at home.
Very good.
And, you know, going through custom, I go like, why never make I follow out this paper before I get off of the plane?
You know.
Because usually I'm going like, I'm sure there was something else that I had to fill out. So I filled it out and went through, and it was, you know.
Eager to get out of the airport and sit
And so I come outside, and I go like, okay, where's Carl? So I call him, and I say, you there yet? How you mean if I there yet? Carl Barker picked me up from the airport. And him and his daughter, and they came by, we had some lunch.
And after 18 years, when you were driving down to Belize City, what went through your mind? You must have been lost because there's been a lot of development of 18 years.
Like,
Let me hear your impression.
Carl was so impressed to be driving me. First thing is Haloba Bridge. When I left, Haloba Bridge was still straight over like that. Now there's a roundabout, right? And he started talking. He go like, you know, the guy said Jamaica is way ahead of Belize. He go like, let me give you some history. Back in 1931, we lost a lot of property, so a lot of people migrated to the States and to England, and then had to come, and the same thing. He said, so every time we have to pick up and create again. He said, but he's here for like a month. You know, he came last week, and he loves to come home. I mean, he's always goes back and forth. You know what I mean? And I'm driving, and I'm just looking around, and I'm like, yeah. But I just went from the airport to here, so I haven't really.
So you just arrived then?
Yes, I just arrived. Yeah.
It's an honor for me to be talking to you on your arrival and to get those first impressions from you, that arrival impression.
I've been here before, but it's still at Biltmore. I performed here once with way back when, with a band named Yard Band International. They were kind of half, way back when, right? And so when I come in, I go like, it's all different. And then the daughter loves to take photos, so she showed me pictures of Fort George, Radisson, and I said, wow, that looks different too. I stayed in Fort George in, oh my gosh, 30-something years, 32 years ago.
When you were here the last time, so many years ago, Ring of Fire was one of your popular tunes, right? You took Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire, they did into a soca thing.
Boardwalk, you know, I did. See, that's what I do, is like I take songs that we know, especially since my audience is not Belizeans. They're not Belizeans, you know. So I take songs that people know, and then I Belizeanize it. I don't like to say I Socanize it. I like to say I Belizeanize it. You know what I'm saying? And so they love it because they love the rhythm and they know the words. I like my audience to get involved when, you know, with the music and stuff like that. So then I worked with a Trinidadian steel. I used to work with a Trinidadian steel band, but I got fired because my voice was interrupting the show with the steel band. But
so
the guy
overshadowing the band.
So, but I saw my mentor many years later, and he says, yeah, that was the biggest mistake I ever made. You know? But he would sit me down and say, you know, every time he went to Carnival, because he used to do the Shell All-Star Steel Band, like the big, he was an amazing arranger, and he would come back and say, well, you know, in Trinidad, we don't say sword, we say sword. But we don't say this. So what happened is that I was working with him, and he and I co-wrote some songs, and then he would come back and he would sit and train me like a Trinidadian singer. Yeah. So every time I performed, it was more for Trinidadian, and they would come up and say, what part of Trinidad are you from, right? What? Big attitude. I don't come from no Trinidad. I'm from Belize. And then one lady said to me, well, you know, Belize should be grateful that Trinidad taught you to sing like that. I go like, okay. I said, let me line you up. We have Lord Rayburn. I says, and that was more who I knew. Then after, you know, when I met him, you know, I started to look at people like Shadow and Crazy and all of that. But I still, whatever I did, always had my flavor. But I used to get upset because I'd be all over the world. Everybody loved my music, except no Belizeans. And I try to get into Belize so many times. It's very difficult to, you know, a lot of times I go like, well, you know, you all that are States, and you do, no, we're struggling just like you are struggling here, you know. But since I've been in the music for 55 years.
55 years, that's the amount of time I've been in broadcasting too, but go ahead.
I remember that, way back when, right? But I've learned a lot.
Well, I've been in Lanka like more like 58, 59.
I got you. A little bit ahead of me, because I remember when you started out. But I've learned a lot, you know. I'm also a metaphysics teacher, you know, because I discovered metaphysics, because I used to get very upset that...
Metaphysics. Tell me a little bit about that.
Metaphysics is, people tend to think of it like, you know, like Lala out there, but it's not. It's living your human life, but from your divine self. Because we're 100% human and we're 100% divine, but we more act as human, and sometimes we act based on what someone else says. You have to remember to learn yourself and remember that you are the dynamic activity of God. So anything that you want, you have to attract yourself. So you know they wrote that book about magnetizing and all that. Well, you are the magnet. You attract what you want. So I teach that stuff too. Every Wednesday and Thursdays I have classes that I conduct. I was at church teaching it, but then during COVID, church closed down, so I ended up getting a Zoom, and we've been on Zoom now for 7 years, and people love it. They come on, we study, but my classes is always to say, we're here to remember who we are. And this way, when you get into trouble and you think, you know, like you can't, like my trips, when I go anywhere, thank you, God. I'm always, my flight's on time. You know, people be go, oh, this and that. You have to just calm yourself down and know that there's certain things that you have no control over. So don't get upset, because when you get upset, then you lean away from the divine flow of life. You can never be out of the divine flow of life. You can never be out of, the divine flow of life is the presence of God. You can never be out of that. But you could be unconscious about it. So when you know about it, now you change the way you look at things, you know? Learn to be more peaceful, because it's all inside. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within, you know what I mean? So it is, but we have a lot of people that taught us that we need somebody between here. This is, you know, no, you could go straight. So that's what metaphysics is to lock into the universe, because the universe is always kind, but there's no, the universe knows no good and bad and all that, but that's what we experience. We experience duality, but divinity is one thing, you know, like God don't know about hatred and all that, because it's not the purity of life, you know what I'm saying? But as a human being, we are here to experience duality, to learn from each other and all that kind of stuff, you know? So when I found that, I mean, I went to school, I fell in love with that stuff, you know?
I'm sure I would love it too, you know, because I like to talk about your life following your thoughts, which is precisely what you're talking about, right? Life follows thoughts.
Divine mind. You don't have a mind and you don't have a mind. We have that one God mind. That's where we all function from. The leaves, plants, you know, like the big tree, you know, the seed, you know, but it starts by the seed first and then it comes up, and we're the same way. So the more you thought, your thought produces things based on what you're thinking. You know, whatever you're thinking, that will come up. You might want this, but if you're thinking about this is where you're going to get, you're not going to get this over here. You have to be in alignment with what you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's all about unconditional love. I wrote a song about it. It's on this one.
Unconditional love.
Yeah, it's on that.
Unconditional love. How, you want to leave it tight for me? Because I don't ever hear that one yet.
Have you ever had this feeling deep down inside of you that you can't understand or put your finger on? Yeah. But it grows and grows and grows. And how it makes you glow. Oh, how it makes you glow. It's love, love, love. Unconditional love flows through you, flows through me and through eternity. Pass it on, let it go, let it flow. It will come back to you overflowing, and you will be ever knowing unconditional love. And the rest you could listen to by the CD.
Wow, I'll definitely listen to that song as soon as I get the opportunity to do so. Right?
And the other song I wrote on that was like One Big Family. It's been around for a while. I did it in reggae with Junie Crawford, and then I redid it with my new producers. They don't know reggae and soca, but they know music. Like, and when you go to work with them, you know, they give me the freedom to write and do whatever. I just wrote a song for them called Coffee Anyone. And it's totally different. Coffee, anyone, coffee. I'm so lonely, I need someone to talk to. Coffee, anyone, coffee. Pick a subject, any topic will do. A little Joe, a little jolt, a macchiato with a float. Sounds quite delicious to me. So sit by me and sip with me. Sip your coffee. You know
that's man, Diamond.
Yes.
Man, you're not easy. You're not easy. You're not easy at all.
But you know, Sister Therese taught me all that stuff. You know, with Sister Therese and Mr. Bob.
Well, that takes me back to the early days now. Let's go back to your early days. You were born in Belize City, I take it.
Yes, and then
Let's take it from there.
I was born in Belize City, on the canal side somewhere. I don't remember. I can't exactly tell you. And then my dad was a mechanic, and we used to live at a farm, Espat Farm, where they used to do mahogany and all that stuff. And then we moved from there. When I was 4, we moved to Orange Walk. We used to live
That farm? Where was that farm?
on Northern Highways.
Northern
Yeah.
Highway, like going towards Mascal area.
Right, up in there, so right?
So then you moved to...
Then we moved to Orange Walk when I was 4. So I went to La Immaculata from 4 to 6. And then we moved from here for me to go to Palotti, and my dad died that same year, 67. But when I came here, I had to do a year at St. Ignatius before I could go to Palotti. But I was only 13, I was young anyway. Right, and then I finished Palotti. You know, I studied music there, and I danced with Bob Renault. You know, Bob Renault, we used to travel, we used to represent. In 1971, we went to Kentucky with Mr. Bob, and we performed at this theater. You know, they had all the Jeanette MacDonald and all these people there, and then I was the only one that sang. So I danced, and then he played the piano, and I sang because I was a part of the Bobettes. Remember, he had a group, me, Alma Whitaker, Sonia Burns, she passed away, and Catherine Saldiva. We were the Bobettes. We used to perform at National Festival of Arts at Blitz and all that kind of stuff, you know. We did Bolito Nightmare with Mr. Bob. And,
Bolito Nightmare.
You know,
memories.
crab time, crab time, crab time.
Yes.
Water they pour down, bo crab they run. I gon' plant out me acre with rice and potato, planting corn, pumpkin and tomato. Banana, cacao, planting sucker, coconut cocoon, yams and cassava. Look, Mako, look, the plantation they come. Look, but look. I don't forget nothing.
You still remember?
Yeah. I did on this one, I did a medley with what that ends with If You're Born There. But it started out with Freetown and all that kind of stuff. And I did, all of that, you know, right? And then I did one Bob Renault song, you know, I lay me head fi go get some rest when kung 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 da me do mouth. Lay me head fi go get some rest when kung 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 da me do mouth. La la, I can't get no rest. La la, I can't get no sleep. La la, I can't get no rest. Trouble surround me deep, so deep. I looked at the hole and I peep right through. Peep right through, figure see that who. Looked at the hole and I peep right through. And I hold me head when I see that who. La la, da the tax collector. La la, da the grocery bill. La la, da the landlord. She lad me lad is the loan shark here. And then I went to, where were you boy? And I did, yes. And so, you know, I did that medley with Junie. But it was funny because I said, I want to do this medley, but he was in Burbank, I was in Miami. So he did the track and sent it to me. And I was like so tired because I did a song called In Miami, and I was doing all these songs. And when he come to that song and I'm listening, I'm going, oh Lord, how I get this? I start to cry over the corner. The guy said, don't cry. Come now, let's finish it. So, you know, I've had a lot of fun with music.
When we come back, Diamond detailed her move to the United States and shared how her career progressed over the years. We take a break to hear from our partners, Seafront Inn, National Institute of Culture and History, Del Martin, the Bari, and the National Gas Company.
Seafront Inn welcomes you to Punta Gorda. Overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea, Seafront Inn offers visitors a relaxing blend of comfort and local charm. Our rooms are spacious and fully air-conditioned, with several amenities including refrigerator, microwave, TV, and more. Clive's Restaurant is located on the 3rd floor and offers a wide variety of delicious food. We can also host your special events. So when you need to get away for business or pleasure, enjoy the atmosphere at Seafront Inn, offering the best of Southern hospitality.
Are you up for an adventure? Want to go explore the world of the ancient Maya? Let's visit one of the archaeological sites. Don't have any cash? Well, guess what? The Institute of Archaeology niche has made payment options more convenient. We are now accepting DigiWallet payments at 13 of our archaeological reserves. Here's how to do it. Select the bill pay option within the DigiWallet app, then select government entities. Click on niche and enter the site name, fee type, cost of ticket, and click Pay Bill. After a successful transaction, show your digital receipt to the ticketing clerk and this process is complete. And don't worry, Digi now has cellular service on a number of our sites. Yes, it's that easy. Download and register for DigiWallet from your Google Play Store or Apple App Store today. Pay your park fees with ease and enjoy an unforgettable experience at these incredible archaeological reserves. This message was brought to you by the Institute of Archaeology, Niche, preserving the past for the future.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewelry come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. Breaking out with a new creation.
You moved to the States and at what age?
At 17,
At 17.
July 10th, 1972.
You used to be part of Fun Time too? Or?
No.
You know,
I remember Fun Time, no, but I wasn't, no. I graduated from Palo Alto June 10th, and I stayed a whole month because I wanted to go to Continental and all those places, because, you know, we couldn't go to anywhere to serve liquors and stuff, so I got like, when I done, I go in. I cheated a little bit like Chippy, what's his name, Anthony Richards. He used to, because, you know, a lot of times the bands would perform with the dancers, and we were young. I mean, I'm talking 14, 15, 16. So he would take me with the harmonists playing, put me in a lead corner. Let me know enough people business, but, you know, I was there for music, so I didn't pay nothing, no mind. Put me in the corner, and I listened to the music that they're playing and stuff like that. And back in the day, we played a lot of American music, you know. And when I left, Punta Rock wasn't here yet. A band came from the University of Florida at Gainesville. And the club that I sang in a club from 9:30 to 2:30 in the morning on the beach in Daytona Beach. And these kids came to play on our day off. And they called me and tell me, I got to come see this band because they want me to hear this stuff. It's when Belize and Punta come out, right?
Oh, okay.
So
You're Ghana States now when you're
17. Mm-hmm. But I was glad I was 17 because I was more Belizean than American. You know, when I look at my son and my younger brothers and sisters that were there from young, they have a different mindset than we do, you know what I mean? And so this young man, Dwight Flowers, he told me, you need to come to Belize and all of this, right? And so he's sending me these things, and I'm like, listen, I know what to do. I know how to get in touch with everybody that I need to talk to. So all I have to do is tell Ray or tell this person. And so the first thing, Ray Alba is the first person that called me. And then I'm like, God, you got to do something when you're going to Belize and all of this. So this guy, I think he's part Jamaican and part Dwight. He's part Jamaican, part Belizean. So he would tell me something about Belize. I said, you can't tell me about Belize. We are very bougie in Belize. You know what I'm saying? Not in an egotistical way, but we were brought up with a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I was well trained. I couldn't speak broken English in my house.
Is that Creole too?
But as soon as I run outside, Creole bust up. You know what I'm saying? But in the house, you have to speak, or at school, we had to speak English. So it really allowed me a lot because...
Was it difficult for you to adapt to the United States when you went there at 17?
No, not at all. I went to visit my mom. My mom was, you know, she had a green card already. When I went to visit, my two younger siblings were there. And she took me to immigration and filed for me. And as soon as I went down, they gave me working papers. So I gone and I get a job. I paid for this job. It was in a factory. And I'm like, yeah. It's not for me. But the guys were nice.
So when you started singing in the States?
How I started it? I just continued what I was doing here with Bob Renault. You know, I sang with a band called Los Escorpiones from Honduras for a while. You know, they had a hard time doing my music with me though. Sometimes they would just get the last. And then I started singing with the Web when the Web was first formed. And Dougie, Douglas up at Black Orchid was the saxophone player.
No, you hook up with Los Escorpiones at that young age in the United
I was
States.
a little older then in Los Escorpiones.
How-
I was with Web first and then
Los
was
Escorpiones.
Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah, you sing Spanish too, Diamond?
Pero sí,
¿Y dónde aprendiste el español,
yo
Diamond?
soy de Orange Walk.
Tú eres orinduaqueña y desde pequeña hablabas español.
Sí, desde pequeña, sí, pero ahora no lo hablo porque alguien... Tengo un hijo de Guatemala. Mi papá fue de Guatemala también, but you know, a lot of Guatemalans moved here, and he doesn't speak much Spanish, but when he was younger, I adopted him when he was 4 months old. He's now 19, soccer player, so we're always at soccer. And I try to speak to him in Spanish, but everybody else doesn't speak Spanish. His mother's Italian, you know, so it got kind of, everybody would ask him what I said, and he would get frustrated. So he took it in school, and I still talk to him in Spanish, especially when I get mad. He could talk Creole real good, because when he gets school, they ain't a Creole. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I could speak Spanish really well, because I was in Orange Walk from I was 4 till I was 12.
Okay, so when you learn a language at that age, you don't forget it
Yeah,
quite easily at
exactly.
all. You ever sing any song in Spanish when you were singing Los Escorpiones?
I wrote Spanish too on here. Yep, quiero perderme en ti.
Quiero perderme en ti. I want to get lost in you.
Es que te vi, mi corazón se siente así, que jamás no es para mí, que estoy enamorado contigo. Y como sin ti no puedo vivir, vente a mis brazos, quiero sentir, quiero oír que me vas a decir, si tú me quieres como te quiero a ti. Bésame porque te quiero, bésame porque te amo, bésame porque lo sientes, bésame para besarme, bésame en la mañana, bésame en la madrugada, bésame porque lo quiero, si quiero perderme en ti. That's the first verse. Junie Crawford did the music. Yeah, Junie did.
Fantastic song.
You know, he's a great producer. Junie
You're
Crawford.
doing it very well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I told him I'm coming to Belize to tell you hello. Yeah. I said,
How is he doing?
he's doing really well. He met and married a jazzy singer.
Okay.
She's a beautiful lady. I went out there. I wrote a song for one of the carnival, Belize Carnival. It never did good because it was kind of weird down there. A song called Utopia International for a mass band that was mostly Belizean. They had other people in there, you know. Lata competition, Famala Crossing Nation. So I flew out there, me and him walk on the beach. I sang it. We went back to his room. He put the music together. I came home and then he sent it to me. You know what I mean? He is like, I went to sing for Lenny, and I was complaining because...
Oh, good friend Lenny.
Yes, Lenny always brought me to, he's the one that brought me to LA on a constant basis, right? But the bands, they don't want to rehearse your music. A lot of bands don't like to play my music because there's a lot of arrangements. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's my background, and I come from, I try to put a little bit of Beethoven and Bach and all of that in the music itself. Neote, we call her. Naomi is her name, right? And I was telling you about the song that I wrote. But he moved down there, and then he works, he loves jazz and all that big music. So he's working down at the university and doing everything out there in the Bahamas, in Nassau. And from time to time, I talk to him or I send him stuff like the coffee song. I said it, and he just loved it. He loved
I would enjoy that song too, you know. I'm looking forward to listening to it.
I'll have to send it to you because I haven't recorded it.
Oh, I thought it was on one of your CDs.
No, it's not on a CD. I just did it. A radio station, my producers are from a radio station. It's called Legends 100.3. They play the Great American Songbook. They don't play nothing else but the Great American Songbook. So one day they decided they wanted somebody to, they invited people to write a song about coffee. Write it, you know, said, I'm like, nah. But when Carl Barker's wife passed away, he wanted to put these songs, like there was an original that they did, Sandra, You Still Hold Me, and then another one, Carl, his buddies have him, beautiful songs he did with a cousin of his, and the daughter wrote a song for his mom. So he wanted to put it in CD form, so I went there for them to clean it up nicely for me, put it on the thing so I could send it to the factory. Well, you know, it's all done and ready. So she sent me, it's Jill and Rich Schweitzer are their names. She sent me my own thing. She said, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "I don't feel like right now." So, but when I went, I didn't have to do anything. They came and they sat and wanted to know how I was doing because I hadn't been. They're busy and in season. You can't get nothing done in the studio with them, right? So I read a lead trailer and I sent it to her. I said, "Does it sound like what you're looking for?" She said, "Oh my goodness, who would think of those words but you, brava." So then she wrote me back and says that Rich, who's an amazing, he plays keyboard and saxophone all at the same time, you know. He wanted to put music to it. He said, "So send it for me." I go like, so I said, "Okay, on it." So I started to write the song because I just sent a little outline. And when I sent it, she said she wanted what I had sent her before, and I sent what I sent her before, and then she said, "Well, we can't line it up because it's not A, B, C, you know." I'm going like, "Yeah, well, I knew that, but you know, I just wanted to see if you would like that." So I rewrote, and I sent it to them, and I went in the studio. 20 minutes, I recorded it.
So it'll be released soon, I take it.
Oh, it's already playing on the radio because their program is called The Morning Lounge. They're on from I think 4 to 10 in the morning, right? And they got the coffee song. I was with my son in New York when it played on the radio, and then I had to send him the press release that I sent to you guys so that she could find stuff out of it. And my son was like, "Mommy, you got to really put a lot of energy into that song." He said, "That is an amazing song, Mom. You got to do something about that." He said, "Put all your energy." I go like, "Jason, that's like the 23rd song." He said, "But Mom, this had a different flavor. It's so different from everything you ever did, you know? And there's no Creole in it. It's just like..."
But the coffee thing there.
It's like a sin of coffee. Anyone I sang it for you before. And it's like, you know, it came out really nicely. And then my partner did a video of it. So when you look, it's everybody call and say, one person tell me, "You know, I really don't drink coffee, but after watching this video, though, I feel like get a cup of coffee."
Start to drink coffee.
Gotta get a little coffee, you know what I mean? So I'll make sure you get a copy so you could see it. But it was just fun, you know, doing it. And I talked about, you know how you go in a coffee shop, everybody they on their phone and nobody really paying anybody attention.
Yeah, amazing how the phone thing works, not true?
You see the whole family.
Everybody,
So
you
that's what I
sitting
wrote
down,
about.
everybody looking at the phone individually.
Exactly, like the
And
second.
No conversation at all.
None. So that's what I said. So I said, "Sit right here, sit. I saved you this chair." You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit here alone or talk to somebody on the phone. I'm up for some good conversation, you know? So sit by me and sip by me, sip your coffee. So it's a little silly little thing, but it's just saying that, you know, exactly, because every time you see people always on the phone, and we all do it, you know, like if I have dead time, I don't care where I am, I have a spelling, one thing I do is like spell words out of 7 letters, you know, so it keeps my brain really sharp, you know, to keep doing that, and then the time flies by. Or most of the time, like for my classes, I write denials and affirmations and quotes every Wednesday morning. So every Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock, I mail out to all the students. I have like 27 people. Not everybody comes to class, but everybody likes the denial and affirmation. You know, it says things like, "I will not let how I feel be controlled by the past or the future. I will stay in the present moment." You know what I mean? And remember, you know, like that God always is guiding you to your highest good. We are the one we mash up everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's God's promises fulfilled, and we need to go around like this. You know what I'm saying? So,
You know, full
so I take all that. I you know, and like unconditional love was about that. One big family is, again, you know, like the world is one big family. We're all connected. We're all, everything, the plants, the universe, everything is connected, you know? And when you feel that way, it gives you inside a different feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a certain point. I mean, I'm in very good shape so far. I haven't taken nothing yet, you know what I'm saying? I love that.
But you know, you adapt the stage name Diamond.
Yes.
Right? Now, I want to know how and did that come about. What is behind the selection of Diamond? Yeah, something like dynamite or something, but I don't want to get there.
No,
You tell me, Diamond.
My partner, her last name is Demino, and mine is Dyer. And her name is D, small I, capital M. So I took the M, I, and small I, and N, and that's why I made it like this. So this is from Dyer, and this is the Mino part. You know, because that's my partner for like 32 years now, you know what I mean? And we travel a lot. She wanted a kid, she has a kid, so he plays soccer, so we go to Sicily and Italy for classes and all over. Now he's playing semi-pro, so he started yesterday. So that's how Diamine came about, because, you know, I like Jeanette, and everybody wanted to call me Cinnamon, and all. This is before Spice Girls. And I'm like, yeah, no, Jeanette's fine. So everybody know, but
I remember you started singing as Jeanette Dyer.
I did.
Right?
I did, and 32 years ago, I became Diamine. And even when I used to have a card that says it goes down, because people call me Diamond, you know, the jewel of
I thought it was
Belize,
Diamond, you know. I thought it came from Diamond.
Diamine.
You know, I said, I know it's spelled D-Y-M-I-N, right?
And it's a long I, right? Dimino, so this is Diamine.
Diamine.
Yeah. So I usually say Diamine or don't die at all. so this way people remember, you know what I say, you know what I mean? Or some people walk up, do you mind if I name my child Diamine? I go like, I would be honored. You know, so it became a fun name, and people that didn't know me before those 32 years don't know me as Jeanette. So anytime somebody called me Jeanette or Janet,
Yeah.
either they're Belizeans or they knew me a long time.
Because your first music was Jeanette Dyer. Dyer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So Diamine, right? How did it feel when you appeared on stage for the first time under the name Diamine and no longer as Jeanette Dyer?
If you notice now, it says Diamine here because when I post up my music, it has to be like that. But that's why it's like that. But most of the time, if you look inside, it always says Jeanette Diamine Dyer. So that, because what happened, some people knew me as Diamine and some people didn't know me as Jeanette Dyer, but I decided, let me just stretch the whole name, except Diamine is the stage name by itself. You know what I'm saying? So I put the Jeanette back and the Dyer back and put the Diamine in the middle. So you'll see that a lot when you read inside and stuff like that. But Diamine, I love that name. It's a very special name for me, you know.
Knowing how it came about, it makes it even more
Yes, it's a special name, because we wanted to come up with something, but I didn't want to be Cinnamon or something like that. I wanted something that was unique, you know. So exactly. So that's what. But then we find out there's a lot of Diamines.
Yeah.
There's Diamine Furniture, Diamine Music. They don't exactly spell it the way I do, but you know, when you go to Google, all these names come up, or you go on YouTube and stuff. I mean, you find a lot of my music on YouTube, but you'll find other stuff too, you know. But I do love the name Diamine. It's my name, you know. And I work with some people, they just call me Miss D. Like Ito, you know, Ito Herrera, right? He just got back. He was traveling with one of the Marley boys in Europe. He just got back. But he always said, Miss D. He always called me Miss D.
No, Miss D, Diamine. Right, you have appeared on stages not only in the United States, I'm sure, but you have traveled. Tell me about some of those appearances, and what you can remember of anyone that comes into your mind like right away.
So I used to cruise with Princess Cruises on the original Love Boat.
Oh my goodness, the original Love Boat.
Yeah, Regal Princess.
Yeah, so you went to those places, we call it Ensenada, and then places.
Yeah, so, well, I went to, I mostly traveled to Australia, New Zealand, every Hawaiian island,
Yeah.
you know, and some places you couldn't go because there was civil unrest. One time they flew me into Guam and just throw me, just flying, and then they throw you on the ship and the ship takes off, you know, New Zealand and all those places. And then when I stopped in these places, there were certain places we went and you perform live. And, you know, people over there, the hardest place is the United States. No, harder than that is Belize.
Why?
Because Belizeans are not like other people. They're going to love something, but they're not into creature worship.
No,
Me and Diane
we
used to laugh.
don't do that. Yeah.
We're not into creature worship.
Belize, we are unique.
But that's what I love about it. It's like, they'll come up later and say, man, I like that song. Oh my. He said, man, you make I feel so good. I'm so proud that I'm a Belizean like you. They'll come up personally and say that. But to say they go crazy and, they kind of pick up a little bit now that they more into the carnival and all of this. But if you remember back in the days before that, when I look at carnival now, I don't even know where I'm at because it looks like St. Vincent or any place else. You know what I mean? And I'm very proud.
How were you with the cruise ships?
I did the cruise ship for about 2-3 years, but after that it got old, because a lot of times you'll sit and then you're looking and realize you're in the middle. You'd be like 9 hours and you'd come back over all the way, then go to Alaska and you freeze and, But it allowed me a lot of opportunities. So a lot of my performances were more on ship than it was on land. You know what I mean? I went and I did perform like in Hawaii, like places like that. But I was more on the ship, and I did 30, 60, 90-day cruises.
For long cruises, man.
The people had a lot of money, and they drank a lot.
Oh, and you had a good time, no?
Gosh, sometimes I would come out, because people would love you to death. I love you to death thing is a serious thing. I'll come out, and there'll be like 3 drinks or 4 drinks sitting waiting for me, Don't say you like grapefruit and vodka because you're going to come out and have 5, 4 glasses of it. But it was fun. I met people from all over the world. I really liked it, and because you cruise so long, that I got to the point where I used to do, like, if a musician wants to go on vacation for 2 weeks, that I'd take that, And then I could have gotten into, like, where you go on one ship, get off, go to another ship. But I got to a point where I just wanted to be home and write music and do that kind of stuff.
Do you play any instrument at all?
No, not really. I started playing steel drums when, I used to play some steel drums, but I more like the flow of music and to be more in touch with the audience on a level. I remember one of my nephews said to me, aren't you scared when you're singing to people right in your face like that? I go like, no, that's the best. When I worked with the steel band, we would have jobs like maybe, the executives of the NBC have a lobster dinner and it's like 20 people and we get to perform and, and you got paid well. So it wasn't like you perform, for the audience and they're loving you back. It was just like you're just part of the whole thing. So I can't, like the whole ambience of the place, So I got to experience a lot. I got to work with a lot of different kind of musicians. There's this one guy I worked with that we did some crazy stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, but that's his style, and he wanted me to do.
What kind of crazy stuff you would talk about?
Like he would talk about. Let me see if I come up with any song. I did some on my earlier albums, like. As a matter of fact, I did one at Bliss Institute when Raven and Junie did the very first jazz festival. I did a song called All Above Me. Now I can understand why. Clouds float up in the sky, but while my loves, they come and go, it's all above me. I did that with a live band with Junie. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you ever seen it because there's a video of it from there too. I was 50 years old. I remember that because my uncle and his family happened to be here from Seattle, not Seattle, but that Washington State. And one of my little cousins asked me how old I was, and I told her I was 50.
And you were in Belize?
Yes, I was in Belize, Bliss Institute, right? And she go like, oh my God.
With the calculation of your age now, you see? Because you said you'll come back for 18 years, so 50 plus 18. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's more than that. Yes, of course. I've been in music for a long, long time. I've been doing music for over 55 years. I see someone wrote, Dougie wrote, she's been a musician for more than 3 decades. I was like, no, it's more like 5 decades, Yeah, but traveling and performing for people all over the world, you get to meet people and you get to see that everyone just wants to be loved or to love. You know what I mean? And there's things that are I am still like, like FIFA right now, World Cup. I mean, I ain't missed no game. No, not if I can, if I could help it. And the way people were feeling so loved in the United States was so amazing, because they always say, well, they say that, we're always so mean, and we're so this, and we're so that, and the other, and they come and they find. This one guy hold up a piece of quesadilla from Africa, he hold up a piece of quesadilla, he said, no, how could this thing be so huge? It's as big as my head, and I have 3 of them to eat. And he was laughing, People are having so much fun, and I mean, it's all almost done now, but, it was great. One of these days, I want to see Belize in there. You know what I'm saying? I really do.
Diamond says she desires to work with young singers in the future. We will have those comments after this break to hear from our partners, Seafront Inn, National Institute of Culture and History, Del Martin, the Barry, and the National Gas Company.
Seafront Inn welcomes you to Punta Gorda, overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea. Seafront Inn offers visitors a relaxing blend of comfort and local charm. Our rooms are spacious and fully air-conditioned, with several amenities, including refrigerator, microwave, TV, and more. Clive's restaurant is located on the 3rd floor and offers a wide variety of delicious food. We can also host your special events. So when you need to get away for business or pleasure, enjoy the atmosphere at Seafront Inn, offering the best of Southern hospitality.
Welcome to the digital era, the Institute of Archaeology's online ticketing system. Purchasing your park tickets just got easier. Here's how you can use our quick and easy online platform for your next adventure. Go to nichebelize.org and select Purchase Park Tickets. Scroll through our 13 available archaeological reserves and select your ticket type, age, and date of your next adventure. Make sure to read up on the amenities available on site. Then, press Purchase Site Ticket. View your cart and fill in your billing information, and the rest is easy. Pay through your preferred method and place your order. Be sure to check your email for your tickets. Now you're set. Visit any of the 13 sites with ease. For more information, call us at 822-2106 or email us at revenueassistant@nichebelize.org. This message was brought to you by the Institute of Archaeology Niche, preserving the past for the future.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store in Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewelry come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. Breaking out with a new creation.
You also performed too at several of the Belize days in the United States, right? Because did you do how many of those?
Very few. It's a weird situation, like I find that we've gotten to the point where we prefer artists from other islands than we do our own Belizeans. The last time I came here, 18 years ago, is when Lena Craig reopened the old Playboy, from across from Ditz. Remember, my what is his name again? I forget her name now. Zoella and Sam. They were playing there, so I came in and I sang. It was 16 days I was there. I sang 13 days. All I did was sleep to catch up for the next day. And the place was packed. People couldn't even get inside, right? So a certain individual come to me and asked me, what was I doing here? I'm like, what do you mean what I'm doing here? It's my home. well, we have Alison Hines playing at the Civic Center. I said, well, we want to see Alison Hines at the Civic Center. Go see Alison Hines at the Civic Center. Who want to see Jeanette Dyer? Come here to see me, you know. People were from all over. I had such a blast, you know. And that's what I've always been caught up in, even in Miami and stuff like that. You know, it's like I don't have a band per se. Not that I can't have one, but most of the time people can't afford it because my musicians are, you know, kind of pricey, you know, to do what I do, to get it the right way. And the last time I performed down there, Sam was there. It was a Mother's Day, I think it was Mother's Day weekend, and I had to use my tracks, and it was horrible. I got paid well, but it was I have for some reason, musically, when I perform at Belizean places, I bring my own equipment. Because they, oh, we got equipment, and I get there, it's, you know, it's not what I need. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking anybody.
There are Belizean places in the U.S.
Yes, in the U.S., exactly. And so it got to be difficult, you know. So I used to always perform for Barbara Renault, Bob's daughter. Because, you know, she had Shady Rest, and that was a nice place. And one time Junie came, and me and him played. But most of the time I played by myself. And then sometimes, you know, you go to visit, and I could perform with the DJ because I have all the tracks ready. You know, I could just plug something in on my phone, and I'm ready to go. Yeah. But there's a lot of egos and stuff, and I'm not into that. You know, I love music, I love people, and sometimes I wish it was a little different that I could perform. So most of the times I perform for other people other than Belizeans. You know what I'm saying?
So what is a day like in the life of Diamine today in the United States?
In the United States? There's a nurse and I that we went to church for a long time, and then she has this lady that she takes care of, and she was going away, and she asked me, I was just got back from Sicily, and she said, do you mind driving her to her country clubs and stuff? And I go like, no, they paid well. And when I dropped she off, and I could do anything I want and come back, you know, and then the lady fell. So she asked me, would I mind covering some hours? So working for her has given me a lot of opportunity to do whatever I want to do.
Nursing or?
Yeah, basically, you know, basically. So I had to learn how to do all that too, you know, and I said, you know, but it has made me that I could travel, go anywhere I want. There's other girls, like now I'm here, there's always somebody to cover for me because the lady loves my music. Like when I wrote Coffee, they would be when I was writing it, and I played it for them, and you know, she's very supportive of what I do, and there's a lot of money involved, so I'm hoping one day, you know, something busts open. But for me right now, and then when I'm done with that, it's like on Wednesdays I have prayer and meditation class on Zoom. So, right, I was talking about, so I'm always preparing for those. Like, I try to prepare 2-3 weeks. Like, when I get back now, I'm ready for the next class. I don't have to think about it. I'm going to think about it when I'm here for sure. You know, I'm going to write something.
What was in the preparation for a class like that? Because those are deep classes.
Yes, a lot of reading, a lot of reading. Because you have to remember, we're human. So a lot of times we do things without thinking. You know, we just react to somebody says something to you that hurt your feelings. Well, the only reason your feeling could get hurt is because you decided to have your feelings hurt. Nobody can really hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? There was a guy in the Holocaust, and his whole family got annihilated. Frankel, forgot what his first name was. And he said there's one gift that God has given every single one of us that nobody could ever take away from you. The way you react to any situation that you're presented with. You're the boss, so how you going to react? You know what I'm saying? And then in metaphysics, there's 4 levels of consciousness. There's victim consciousness, victor consciousness, vessel consciousness, and vessel and verity. Victim is when you can't do nothing, everybody's doing to you, poor you. Victor is that you remember there's a God, but God is, you know, we say, if God is willing, God is always willing, but we have to change. We grew up with that word, you know. And then vessel is you've learned about God and that you and God are one, but you think that God is working through you. And when you get to verity, you learn that you are the dynamic activity of God, and you got to do the work. But as humans, we operate from all these different consciousness. You know what I mean? So these are the things that I bring to my class. It's like to remember that you are in charge of your life. And a lot of times, you know, like you'll be in a situation where you want something and then you'll be like, oh man, I don't know why. I can't do that anymore to myself. I can't be a victim anymore because only you can make yourself a victim. Somebody else can't make you a victim. Even if you're being hurt and all of that, you just got to get to the point where you got to stand up and say, what am I going to do about this? Because it is my responsibility. So preparing for the class, I always read something, you know, like Eric Butterworth is an amazing teacher. I belong to the Unity Movement. Unity Movement was a lady, her name was Myrtle Fillmore, and her family was riddled with tuberculosis. She had like 6 months to live. She was in her 20s, and she went to a meeting in Chicago where she met E.B. Weeks, who was a big metaphysics guy, and he said, you're a child of God and you do not inherit sickness. Nobody heard that but her, because that's how it is. When there's a message for you, a lot of people could be around you, but only you're going to get it because it's for you. Because you're asking a question, but you might not know that you're asking that question, because we always, like you say, thoughts become things, you know? And so that lady, for 2 years, she would go in her closet and bless every organ in her body. And then she stopped, and nothing happened. And a couple of years later, she healed. She lived till she had another child, and she lived till she was in her 80s. You know, and her husband now, he was a real estate broker, and he was a little hard about believing how this stuff worked. But when he saw it happen, he said, well, this could happen with anything. Finances, whatever you want. This works for you, but you have to make it work. It works if you work it, you know? And so I studied like Butterworth and Holmes and Fox and all these guys, Quimby. All these guys were just amazing. They got this from way back when. Even the founders, not everybody was Christian. The founders of, you know, that wrote the Constitution, not everybody was a Christian. Yeah. Some were metaphysicians, and they thought differently. But, you know, they put their life on the line because that was you know, people don't look back, especially the young people, they don't look back and see what our forefathers went through. It doesn't mean that you have to live in the past, but you have to see that they fought to make us be able to live the way we live today. So you have to honor that. You know what I mean? And then use your own interpretation, because everybody has a different view of life. You know what I'm saying? And so I would say, you know, like the denial would be, I have no right to force the way I feel on someone else. Yeah. So I pray and give thanks that everyone has their own godly abilities to create what it is they need to create in life, even though it looks like wrong to me. Yeah. Because what's wrong for me might not be wrong for you. So the preparation is a lot of sitting and thinking about it, you know. And then I'll stop and write a song or some line in between. I always have a song going somewhere. Like my friends say, when are you going to write a song about Belize? I said, after I leave. Because I want to include, you know, being here and talking and what all this.
Let's hope you get some inspiration on this trip to write a song about Belize.
But, yeah, I already started, but I haven't been into the city, or I haven't been, you know, just as far as I got from the airport, you know, and I'm going. Exactly, yeah. Now I'm going the opposite direction, you know. I mean, guys.
You're going to Boom?
I'll stop and drop my stuff off in Boom, and then I'm going to Orange Walk. I have a interview with Lucio Alcocer on his Fiesta radio at 4 to 5 o'clock. I'm hanging out with him tomorrow. So the only thing I did was you guys and him for now, you know, because I wanted to be free to be able to roam around. I don't want to come for Lobster Fest and I'll make it out to one of the keys, you know. So Saturday, I want to check out Kikaka. Everybody in my class, they know me as Daimeen. They know my name is Jeanette, but at church, I'm known as Daimeen. You know, I sang at church. I used to run the church. But the minister I worked for, she's now passed away, and the whole thing changed, you know? Because that's the next thing is like, the way it was before where you're in charge. Now you have some people that come in and they're going to decide how it's supposed to be. And I really don't do that. You know, you could call and talk to me and tell me, oh, I'm sick of this and that. And then you go like, are you there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to catch up. Because most of the time when people hear themselves, and I'm just sitting there not saying anything, they catch what it is that they're looking for. Because you have to find what you're looking for yourself. Nobody could find it for you. You know what I'm saying? And be the best. Do what makes you feel good.
That's right.
And that's how my life is. It's like, so I wake up in the morning, you know, I go for a walk, and then I sit, and I work from Monday to Thursday, 16 hours a day. And then I stop for breakfast. I have my little place I stop, and I know everybody in there. And we laugh and talk, and then I leave and then come back. You know, like now they're all excited that I left for Belize. They get to listen to the coffee song. You know, you develop these little places where you find different people that love, you know, exactly, so that you enjoy life. You know, then I go home and chill, write something, or just watch TV, and, you know, now my dogs and all of us, we watch football, or as they call it, there's soccer.
The main thing is that you're happy.
That's peaceful, inner peace and joy is what you want. And money can't buy it.
So, Diamond, you know, like I said, it's a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be here with you and to be able to talk to you and to learn about your life and how you think. Because how you think is extremely important as to where you are going. So let's look at the future. What are the plans for the future?
Okay. I did a Christmas album. I'm going to give you guys a copy because I didn't bring a lot because, you know, it's not Christmas time, but just so that you could have it. I wrote one song on that, and then Junie did everything in Calypso, like Winter Wonderland and all this, but in Calypso. Right, so it came out really nice. And then Rich did I think he just did that one song on there for me. Oh no, and we also did Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And I gave him a long play of, you know, nice music in there. So my next move now is I want to create a new album because I've done a lot of reggae and soca and all of that now. So I want to write an album from the Great American Songbook, which is like Sinatra and, you know, all those guys like that, and ladies, Patsy Cline, because I do, like a kind of tribute to them. And so that is what I'm thinking about doing. I'll add one or two of my own on it. And I also would like to spend time producing young singers, right? But teaching them the metaphysic way of being too. Exactly. Because what had happened to me throughout my life is that you want to hit, or, you know, you want somebody to like what you do and nobody paying you no mind, and, you know, you get real caught up in that. And then the music has a different flavor if you don't come from inside. You know what I mean? And if you just leave, because I no longer need to have a #1 hit, because I sing for a living, and when I sing, I like to make people feel good, and it's about the love, you know. So I sing as much as I want to. I do music therapy in retirement homes because those are hard places where people are really sad. You know, so I go in there and bring some soca music and stuff like that for them and have them dancing in their chair, go over, hug them up, you know, love them up, because they're a part of it. And I usually, when I finish a show, I always have a prayer, you know, to bless everybody. And so they have fun with that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I wrote a song called God is in Charge also. It's on this album. And talking about, you know, that God is in charge. But you got your freedom, always listen, because it's always, you know, you take your moments to be quiet. It's important to be quiet. So I do a lot of meditation and praying and stuff like that. So that is also one of my favorite. That I love doing that, and that's what changed the way I feel about music. You know what I mean? I'm no longer in music to make a hit or to run. I mean, I've been through it all. Yeah. The gamut, you know, the way people travel with people.
For you.
So now I'm doing it, you know, for me, for other people. Just about the love, you know what I'm saying?
But you gotta love yourself before you love others.
You can't love nobody if you don't love yourself. You know, whatever you don't have in here, you can't give. You know, so God bless everybody. make your life just flow right where you are. It's just you have everything that you need inside of you to create whatever you want.
So that's your message to Belizeans.
You can create whatever you want. And if one person did it, it can be done. You can do it. But try not to, when you get, like, principle and ideas is what God truly is. There's not a God. God don't look like us except he look like us because we look like this. But truly, it's your humility and your non-resistance and love and life and joy and health. All of that is naturally in you. But we get told a lot of things from the outside, and we use that and put it in instead of going this way. So you're supposed to live life inside out. And then when you do that, you're going to bless the world because everybody has something to represent. Everybody has something to share.
That's a good message to leave for our folks. And of course, it's a message that's all embodied in love.
Absolutely. Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Yes. There's a special spark deep down inside of you.
You want to sing the lead tune a little bit?
There's a special spark deep down inside of you that makes you who you are, to do what you have to do, and you have a clean slate on which you can create the life you want to live and be who you want to be. Love, 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 unconditional love flows through you, flows through me, and through eternity. Pass it on, let it flow, let it go. It will come back to you overflowing, and you'll be ever knowing unconditional love.
Yeah, unconditional love. But you know what? I mean, love is a choice that we make, right? Because we got a choice, and you said it earlier. We have to choose to love. And you know what we say when people choose to love, Lemon? You know how we say? Let me show you how we say it. Belize and beyond. Thanks for choosing love.